live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. It's your intrepid songwriter here, chronicling my adventures as a songwriter, because seriously, who does that? Nobody does that. That's who. So I'm out here trying to tell you all the stuff I wish they told me when I first started out. Now, I know that most of you are going to want one-on-one sessions. So you have to book a session for that. So go to my website, theintrepidSongwriter.com, and click on Hire Me. Okay? You can get a first 15 minutes free session, and then you can book time in 30-minute increments, because what you're going to need is you're going to need a step-by-step plan for your career. And that's what I do. I even have on my YouTube channel, I even have a client or testimonial playlist, so you can listen to the words of other people that have worked with me. I help people solve their disputes with their band, how to get your royalties paid, how to get back on the charts if you've been off for a while, whole bunch of different stuff. So go to my website, theintrepidSongwriter.com, and book a session with me for your one-on-one counseling to get your career where you want it to be. Now, in terms of today's video is going to be some more producer tips and tricks. The name of this video is entitled Out the Box, and that has a double meaning. What we're going to talk about today, now I don't have anything set up right here, or else I'd show you. Maybe when I get some new equipment in, I'll do an unboxing video. But I want to walk you through what you're supposed to do whenever you get a new piece of equipment, especially if you're a keyboard player or a beat maker. If you make anything on hardware, you have any type of style MPC or any type of keyboard, you know the first thing you're supposed to do when you open that box and plug that thing up? Here's the first thing you're supposed to do. First thing you're supposed to do is either copy and or offload the factory sounds. Let me say that again. First thing you're supposed to do is you're supposed to copy and or offload the factory sounds. What do I mean by that? I mean that when you get a new piece of equipment, that it always comes with its own standard set of sounds. So the first thing you want to do is be sure you have backed those up. So you need to have an external hard drive that you can plug into your new piece of equipment and back those sounds up. Now you have a permanent copy. So in case anything happens, you lose the sounds, or you have a power brownout, or you have a blackout, or anything happens on stage, you haven't lost all of your factory sounds, okay? That is just like, music gear 101 when you're dealing with instruments, digital, physical, hardware instruments. But the second thing you should do is that you might want to fully offload them. Now that's optional. You don't have to offload your sounds, but that leads us into the next step. So first we back them up to an external hard drive. Second, you might want to offload them, but here comes number three. Number three, you must create your own banks of sounds. One of the biggest complaints we have today with music is that everybody sounds the same. All the music sounds the same. Do you want to know why all that music sounds the same or so similar? Well, on some levels, some of the bigger name people, I'm not going to mention any names, even though it's been in the news, what they do is they take the same tracks and they give them to multiple artists. They take the same tracks that they produced one time and use them on multiple artists. So there's that. But also, it's because so many people use the same sounds. Now I'm talking about on, maybe not on the highest level, but whatever level you are on your career. If you use FL Studio, if you use Logic, if you use Pro Tools, if you use Reaper, if you use Reason, if you use Motu, if you use Cubase in the window, if you just stick with the factory sounds, if you just stick with what came with them, that's why everybody sounds the same, because everybody's using the same set of sounds. No, what you're supposed to do is create your own sound packs. You're supposed to create your own sound packs, and let me show you how. The first best way to create your own sound packs is realize that everything around you is percussive. Everything around you is percussive. So record hitting your hand on your kitchen table, record hitting your hand on your wall. Then you have to learn multiple positions with your hand in terms of creating sounds, because there's closed fist, there's knuckles, there's an open fist that you can use to hit with, as opposed to that sounding more like a knock. Then you can create your own claps. It's different when you create claps because it depends on how you clap, where you hit the hand, as opposed to what sound you get and that kind of thing. And then I know someone who's a human beatbox. Even if you're not a human beatbox, did you know that you can use your own voice for samples? And not only can you, that's what you should be doing. Because I'm trying to show you how to create a unique sonic signature, create a unique palette of sounds, so that as a producer, when people hear your tracks, when they hear your beats, you're going to stand out to them. You're going to be different to them. Why? Because you don't sound like anybody else. So you can use your voice, you can use your tongue, you can use finger snaps from your own, snapping your own fingers. Like I said, if you know how to beatbox, you can do bass drum. And you can also take these unique sounds. You do not have to use them solo. You can take them and layer them. So if you have some already established factory sounds, but you're trying to get that unique sound, then you take some sounds you made with your voice or the objects you have in your studio that you recorded and layer them on already existing sounds. Now you have a unique sonic signature. And you need to do that for every part of your kit. You need to do that for kicks, snares, claps, hats, sticks, percussion, FX, everything that you do. You never use the factory sounds as is straight out of the box. Ever, ever, ever. If you do that, you're always going to sound just like everybody else. So to repeat, step one, you back up the factory sounds to a hard drive so you never lose them in case of a brownout or a blackout, electrical shortage on stage, whatever. Step two, optional if you want to, you can completely offload them. You can completely take the original factory sounds out if you have such an option, depending on the device that you're using. Step number three, you create your own palette of sounds. You should have had that going as a producer anyway, but that's the way you begin to create unique sonic signatures. That's the way you begin to differentiate yourself and be sure you don't sound like anybody else. Now, don't give me any excuses about how, interpret songwriter, I can't sing, or I don't know how to do that. Yes, you do. If you call yourself a producer, you call yourself an engineer, you know how to record something, then you know how to record unique sounds and create your own palette. Maybe you've never done it before, but I'm telling you now, this is the way to set yourself apart. See, a funny thing happened when they introduced DAWs on a consumer level. It used to be before they introduced Fruity Loops, way back in the 90s, that you had to go to a pro studio to record anything. You didn't really have an option to get that pro sound at home unless you were willing to spend lots of money. And you already had to spend money on your engineering degree to know how to set up a home studio. But it wasn't just straight out of the box. You just load it into a laptop or a desktop and you start making music like it was in the 90s. But you know what happened when they put that technology on a consumer level? Now you have to compete with everybody. Before, it was just professional producers competing with professional producers. Okay, but now, since everybody's a producer now, since everybody's got access to a DAW, when you put your stuff out there, the only way you're not going to immediately sound like everybody else if you do these steps I'm telling you, and you make your own unique sonic palette. Now, if you do use a DAW, I personally like Battery, but Akai MPC has a plugin that's been out for years now. So you should have picked it up a long time ago. You can get that MPC sound right in a VST or AAX slot. And Battery's been around for years. I like Battery because I like the graphic user interface. I like seeing my instruments laid out in that 4 grid, in that 8 grid, and that 16 grid. I like that. Okay, so that's why I prefer Battery. And then you can just plug in your stuff as you use it. So if you use a drum controller, you hit the pads if that's the feeling that you like. If you use a keyboard, then it's really cool seeing the sound you want light up. And the Battery sounds are always recorded at such high fidelity, they're always crisp and loud and sharp. But like I said, you want to get that MPC sound, it's right there now, you can plug it in. Now let me give you an example, except I have to go way back in time because most producers, especially nowadays, are not really telling you their secrets. But I read the autobiography of Quincy Jones. Quincy Jones said when he did Billie Jean for Michael Jackson, they did a couple things. The first thing that he did was If you listen to Billie Jean has 2 bass lines. If you didn't know that, Billie Jean has 2 bass lines. It has oh, and it also has a it has both of those. Go listen to that. The second bass line is really faint, but it's there. 1. Number 2, what Quincy Jones did, he layered a woodblock sound on top of his kick drum. So on 1 and 3, the boom, cha. Every time you hear the kick, you're hearing a woodblock layered on top of that kick. It's the most amazing thing. If you listen closely to it, you can hear it. And finally, when Michael sings that phrase, take my strong advice just to remember to always think twice. Don't think twice, do think twice. He's singing those backgrounds through a plastic tube. So when he's singing, don't think twice, it's coming through this. So that's how they get more of a unique sound. Little stuff like that. Stuff like that creates a unique sonic signature on the track. That means when you put it through spectral analysis, you can see unique and different frequencies, okay? And the ear can pick them up too. They don't always register to you, but they're there and the ear can hear them, okay? That's the kind of stuff you have to be doing to set yourself apart. Otherwise, you're going to keep getting the same results as everybody else because you're using factory sounds and because you're not making your own palette. You're not innovating. You're just repeating what somebody else is doing. You follow what I'm saying? All right. That's our tips and tricks for today. You can go out and start this right now. Remember, like I said, go to my website, intrepidsongwriter.com, and click on Hire Me so you can get a one-on-one session so I can help map out. Wherever you are in your career, I can help you get to where you want to be, and I can save you a whole bunch of time and money. So that's why you want to book a one-on-one session with me. But take these tips and tricks that I'm giving you, okay, to start distinguishing yourself as you put your music out there on the marketplace. All right? All right, that's it for my live today. I will talk to everybody next week. You are welcome. Intrepid Songwriter, out.